Quiet, please. A new era in golf is teeing off. After months of speculation and controversy, the breakaway LIV Golf Tour is officially underway, with its inaugural event in London throwing the present and future of professional golf into complete disarray. All of a sudden, the PGA's effective monopoly is no more. And despite the boatload of practical and moral questions surrounding the breakaway LIV Series, which is funded by the Saudi Arabian government, its launch has profoundly reshaped the landscape of the sport. More than a dozen PGA stars have already defected to LIV Golf, enticed by the huge purses and no-cut events, and you can expect more big names and more controversy to follow in the coming weeks and months. There's a lot to unpack here, but we've got you covered. Sit back, relax, and take this in. For decades, the PGA had a virtual monopoly on professional golf. If you were one of the best in the world, you played in the PGA, the tour with the most prestige and the biggest payouts. And if you were unhappy with the PGA, for whatever reason, you just had to live with it. Except, not anymore. Thanks to the seemingly endless bankroll of the Saudi Public Investment Fund, and with golf legends like Greg Norman, the tour CEO, and Phil Mickelson lending the upstart some big-name credibility, LIV Golf was able to get off the ground. And given the success of its inaugural event, the LIV Tour has positioned itself as a legitimate threat to the PGA's monopoly. And it's not because the LIV Series offers a dramatically different product. Sure, its tournaments are 54 holes as opposed to 72, and yes, the atmosphere in London was livelier and less stodgy than you'd see at a PGA event. But that's not why some of the biggest names in golf, like Dustin Johnson and Bryson DeChambeau, are defecting from the PGA Tour. Say it with me, folks, it's about the money. Not only did stars like Johnson and DeChambeau receive 9-figure sums to join the LIV Series, but the prizes for the players are massive. And nobody playing a LIV event goes home without a nice chunk of change. Charles Schwartzel, the 2011 Masters champion, took home $4 million for winning LIV's first individual tournament, making roughly as much money in 3 days on the LIV Series as he did over the previous 4 years on the PGA Tour. Meanwhile, Andy Ogletree, who finished dead last in the 48-person tournament, took home 120 grand. It can't be overstated just how much money this outfit is throwing around. Over the course of its 8-event season, the tour is set to give out a whopping $255 million in prize money. And if anyone manages to shoot a 54 at any LIV tournament, that player will receive a bonus of $54 million. This is the part where I mentioned that LIV, in Roman numerals, represents the number 54. Ultimately, for this increasing group of PGA defectors, it doesn't seem to matter that the money is coming from the public investment fund of an oppressive, authoritarian country with an ugly and extensive history of human rights abuses. In fact, in creating and funding the LIV Series, many have accused the Saudi government of sports washing, that is, using sports to launder their international reputation. Needless to say, the backlash against the LIV Series and the PGA stars who up and left for it has been considerable. Notably, in the midst of the first tournament, a 9/11 victims group expressed its outrage over American players participating in a Saudi-backed event, accusing them of betraying their country in a letter sent to the agents of Mickelson, Johnson, DeChambeau, Kevin Na, and Patrick Reed. Additionally, defectors to LIV also face swift judgment from the PGA. All 17 PGA players who participated in the inaugural LIV tournament had their PGA memberships indefinitely suspended, to say nothing of the sponsorship contracts lost, and PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan confirmed that any player who bolts for the LIV Series can expect the same consequence. That means Mickelson and Sergio Garcia won't be able to play in certain prestigious tournaments, like September's President's Cup. However, and this is important, players who were suspended from the PGA Tour or resigned their memberships to join the LIV Series will not necessarily be banned from competing in the major tournaments. That's because those tournaments aren't run by the PGA. Ahead of LIV's first event, the United States Golf Association confirmed that LIV players will be eligible to participate in the 2022 US Open, and it's expected that the R&A, which organizes the British Open, will follow suit. As for whether or not LIV players will be welcome at the PGA Championship or the Masters, that remains to be seen. So far, however, that uncertainty over majors eligibility hasn't deterred many of golf's biggest names from jumping ship to the Saudi-backed tour, nor has the fear of damaging their reputations. And with each prominent defection from the PGA, LIV's credibility and popularity grows. as does the friction between the two rival tours that have been verbally sparring for a while now. Back in May, after the PGA denied its players permission to play in LIV events, Norman blasted the PGA as anti-golfer, anti-fan, and anti-competitive. Weeks later, in explaining his decision to indefinitely suspend LIV defectors, Monahan described those players as turning their backs on the PGA Tour. Norman responded by calling that decision vindictive. And the animosity isn't limited to the bigwigs either. After securing his 21st career PGA victory on the same weekend as LIV's kickoff event, Rory McIlroy, one of the PGA Tour's most ardent and respected loyalists, clearly delighted in passing Norman on the all-time leaderboard.
21st PGA Tour win, one more than someone else. That gave me a little bit of extra incentive today, and I'm happy to get it done.
From the looks of it though, this may only be the beginning of what could be a transformative feud. LIV and the PGA are poised to compete for talent and for eyeballs for at least the foreseeable future. And while it's anyone's guess as to how this rivalry unfolds, it's safe to say that the course of professional golf has been profoundly changed by the emergence of this controversial tour.